Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. Well, it is our pleasure to welcome everyone here today for our soft launch of our very first Southeast Asian Teaching and Learning Video Awards 2021. We welcome all the eminent judges and guests from Malaysia, from Indonesia. We also have a judge from Philippines, Thailand, and also Vietnam. We may go through different walks of life, but Alhamdulillah, we are here to show our knowledge and vast experience with the community. This is the first competition in the history of our CG Collaborative Group for 360-degree video-based learning, Center for Innovative Delivery and Learning Development, CIDL UiTM Malaysia, and the Future Learning Initiatives Lab, Fly Lab team, which is completely conducted on a digital platform in line with the social distancing norms due to COVID-19 pandemic starting from 1st September until 15 October 2021. The theme, you must be wondering what's the theme of this competition. Well, the theme of this conference or this competition is celebrating videos for future-oriented teaching and learning initiatives. Wow. Miss Susie?
Thank you, Mr. Safwat. Dear audience, we are calling this competition as First Southeast Asian Teaching and Learning Video Awards 2021 because our institution partners are not only institutions from Malaysia but also from other Southeast Asian countries, which are Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, as well as Vietnam. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Safwat.
Well, we are proud to announce that this competition is being conducted along with the cooperation of not one, not two, not three, but 14 other institutions from all five countries mentioned by Miss Susie just now. All right, we have, if we may start with Indonesia first, we have Politeknik Negeri Semarang, we have Universitas Airlangga, we have Universitas Dinamika, and also Universitas Terbuka. For our institutional partners from Malaysia, we have International Medical University, we have College Politek Mara Ipoh, we also have Mahsa University, we have Sunway College Johor Bahru, we have University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, we also have Kuching District Education Office. Wow. We have Institute of Advertising and Communication Training, IACT. And of course, the main organizer, University Technology Mara. Not to forget, we have an institutional partner from the Philippines. We have Polytechnic University of the Philippines. One institutional partner from Thailand, Kalasin University. And the last institutional partner is from Vietnam, Van Lang University. Well, there'll be plenty of knowledge enhancing categories for all lecturers, staff members, and also students. The esteemed members of panelists will be the judges of this competition. Miss Susie.
Excellent, Mr. Safwat. Ladies and gentlemen, future workers and young learners are increasingly exposed to learning technologies and technological tools that are endemic to Education 4.0. One of them is the concept of video learning or video-based learning, VBL. VBL has become an enabler of the Flipped Classroom initiative, and it allows for the delivery of blended learning lesson, particularly in school and universities. Here we are today, everyone. We are conducting this competition to welcome everyone in order to make sure that our learning tools is going to be that excellent. We're going to help our students to learn better. All right. And then in Southeast Asia, VBL is empowering not just learners but also instructors who can now ensure that access to learning will be open all the time and that learners will be able to access knowledge whenever and wherever they want to. Definitely, most instructors nowadays, because due to this COVID-19 pandemic, we are always would like to come up with a video that will be that short, all right, and then funny, engaging to our students. VBL is not just a form of informal learning or learning support due to this accessible manner. VBL is not just a form of informal learning or learning support due to this global pandemic. It is becoming a common teaching and learning to across the academic and corporate learning divides. Mr. Safwat.
Well, that's very true, Miss Susie. There has been a rapid rise in educational videos recently. Well, I bet this is because the applications of video-based learning or VBL are linked with the notion of fun and being student-friendly. In
Correct.
addition, most universities offer this approach in par with the development of futuristic smartphones, tablets, and laptops, right, Miss Susie? Well, you tell me,
Yes,
who
Mr.
doesn't
Safwat.
have smartphones nowadays?
I have two.
Oh,
Oops.
wow, there you go.
Oops.
Okay, Miss Susie.
All right. So there are numerous researches done related to video-based learning that say student-defined video lectures VBL as entertaining, exciting, motivating, and efficient in terms of learning. Indeed, the benefits stemming from VBL are endless, and the sky is the limit. VBL can help students in devising creative notes and study for tests and exam. By the way, Mr. Safwat, I have also created a lot of YouTube video before, and I have
Oh,
shared with my
wow.
students. Somehow it
Wow.
helps my students to revise the lesson before the assessment.
Oh, wow. I bet your class must be so interesting. It's a shame that I
Wow.
cannot be there.
Ah,
Well,
no,
ladies
please.
and well, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this competition will be the use of video-based learning. All right, artificial. Not just that, we also focus on artificial intelligences, augmented reality, virtual reality, because those are the things that are increasingly adopted after the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Right. Well, hopefully, this competition will not just be used as a platform to showcase creativity and the ability to play with technology, but will also encourage both educators, not just educators, but also students to create more video contents even after this competition to enhance the process of teaching and learning. All right. Well, Miss Susie.
Yeah, we are hoping that this competition will help everyone. We are going to ask everyone to watch this video. Definitely there will be something that would benefit everyone, so please, please, please come and do support our competition. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this competition is open to all lecturers, students, and staff members from UiTM and all 14 other institutional partners. The first institutional partners that will work closely with us is Polytechnic Negeri Semarang, Indonesia. Hi, Bapak Prakyino.
Hello. Hello, Bapak Praino. And we will also work closely with Universitas Airlangga. Hello, Ibu Yunisari.
And we have Universitas Didamika. Good afternoon, Bapak Anggen.
Oh, all right. Well, another one institutional partner from Indonesia, Universitas Terbuka. Hello, Ibu Della.
Then we're moving to our own country, Malaysia. We have Mr. Hasnain Zafabaloj from International Medical University. Hi, Mr. Hasnain.
And College Polytech Mara Ipo. Hello, Madam Nur Hayati.
All right, excellent. Now we're moving to Masa University, Malaysia. Madam Aimi Farina. Hi, Aimi.
All right, and um, we also have Sunway College, Johor Bahru. Wow. Hello,
Wow.
Dr. Hong Kong Hin.
Yes, and Miss Ong Mei Mei.
Yeah, and Miss Ong Mei Mei. Hello.
Now we are going to go to UPSI, Malaysia. Mr. Sasigaran and Madam Nitnor Atira. Hello.
Okay, all right. And we also have an institutional partner from Kuching. Let's fly to Kuching. All right.
Wow.
All right.
Let's fly
Well,
to
that is
Kuching.
Kuching. Yeah, let's fly to Kuching. Well, that is Kuching District Education Office. Hello, Miss Faith.
Ah. Hello, Miss Faith. All right, now we're moving to Institute Advertising Communication Training IACT. Mr. Timothy. Hello, Mr. Timothy.
Hi, 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 hi. All right. And of course, the last one from Malaysia. All right. The main organizer, University Technology Mara. Hello, Dr. Irel.
Hello, boss.
Hello, boss. Okay. Susie, we have another one
Yes,
from the
now,
Philippines, right? Yep.
yes. All right, so now we're going to fly to Philippines, the Philippines Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Mr. Junior. Hello, Mr. Junior.
Oh, oh, hi, 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 Mr. Junior. Well, let's take a flight to Thailand because we have
Huh.
Kalasin University. Say hi to Dr.
Woo.
Lowen. Thanks so
Hi, Dr.
much.
Lowen. All right, so now we are going to go to Vietnam. All right, might
Mm-hmm.
be, please, please, please
This,
come and
mm-hmm.
embark into this journey together to Vietnam. We're going to have Professor Pham Ho from Van Lang University. Hello, Miss
Van Lang
Prof. How are
University.
you?
Hi, hello, 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 Mr. Prof. Famho. All right. Okay.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Susie.
So we have these 14 institutional partners, all right, together with UiTM. For your information, there are four categories altogether in this competition. Two categories for lecturers or staff members, and the other two are going to go for the students. Okay, we have videos for teaching award. We have 360-degree teaching video awards for lecturer and staff member. Meanwhile, for student, we're going to have video for learning as well as 360-degree learning video award. It can be a normal YouTube video, or might be you would like to submit a 360-degree video spherical YouTube video. Mr. Safwat.
So let me just get this one straight. So
Yes.
we have
Mhm, mhm.
four categories, two categories for lecturers or educators,
Correct.
two
Yes.
categories for students. So they can choose either to compete, to create a normal video, like the normal
Correct.
one usually uploaded on
Yes.
YouTube,
Yes.
or
Mm-hmm.
360 degrees video. All
Correct.
right.
360
Great.
degree video. If they would like to see the example, you can somehow go to our YouTube channel and look for Mr. Hasnain video, Dr. Khokher's video, or might be Mr. Bapak Prayuno's video. They have somehow shared with you some of the example of 360 degree videos.
All right, great. So
Yes,
they have
great, Mr.
reference to see.
Safwat.
Okay, great.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, all entries that have adhered to the rules and regulations will get an e-certificate of participation. Wow. Well, don't miss the
Mm-mm.
chance. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, do not miss the chance to experience a Southeast Asian level, all right,
Mm-hmm.
competition.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be creative, all right? Spend some time to record a video and send it
Yeah,
to
correct.
us.
Yes, Mr. Safwat, correct. By the way, Mr. Safwat, if they would
Yeah.
like to prepare for the video, they can somehow watch the video, the presentation given by Mr. Sofiuddin, Cikgu Hafiz, as well as Encik Abu.
Yeah.
The ideas is somehow related to how they could somehow come up with a video. So please, please, please
Oh,
watch
great,
our
great.
videos in
Mhm.
YouTube, in CIDL YouTube, as well as CIDL Facebook. All
Facebook
right.
page.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So we would like to once again thank all of our institutional partners for joining us to create this history, organizing our first Southeast Asian Teaching and Learning Video Awards 2021.
Whew. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. All right. Okay. So now, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen,
Mm-hmm. Are you
this
ready,
is a,
everyone? Are you ready, everyone? Okay. I just would like to see something. Are you ready, everyone? Ladies and
I
gentlemen, are
am.
you ready? Okay, excellent, Mr. Safwat.
Okay.
So, Mr. Safwat, let the awards all right.
The
So let
awards
the
are
awards
now.
begin, and
Let
the
the awards
awards are
begin.
now yes, and now the awards are now open.
Open. All right. So don't forget
All right,
to submit your
the
participation.
entries.
Yeah, to
Mm-hmm.
submit your entry, create a video and send it to us. All right.
All
The
right.
more, the
Okay,
merrier.
everyone. Excellent, excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looking forward for your participation, and we will see you in a month.
Woohoo. All right, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we end the soft launch, I just want to say to you guys that, please stay tuned for our next program.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, after this, we're
Correct.
going to have another one Tech at Talks. All right,
Yes,
CG360 Video Based
yes.
Learning, CIDL Mega Tech at Talks video learning experience with Vivista SEPA360 that will start at 3 p.m. All right, we're gonna have three speakers from three different countries. We have Austria, a speaker from Austria, Belgium, and also Greece. Wow, so don't
Yes,
miss
please
it.
stay tuned.
Yeah,
Correct, Mr.
stay tuned.
Safwat. Please stay tuned because we have Professor Vassilis Barkoukis, we have Mikael Empsen, and we have Michael Feurstein. So please, 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 everyone stay tuned. We're going to go on live again at 3 p.m.
All right.
Let's watch the video.
All right. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot to unmute my microphone. So I'll begin from the beginning. So hi, assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Welcome to your favorite Tech at Talks, where we will discuss issues regarding anything about the technology and education. And of course, we are specializing in 360 video-based learning. Today, our session is going to be a tad bit different because today is our Mega Tech at Talk. And our special topic today is about video learning experience with Vivista, a SEPA360 project. Now, my name is Salwa Othman, and together with me in this platform today, our esteemed panelists from across the globe. Our first panelist is Mr. Michael Feurstein. He's a teaching and research associate at the Institute of Information Systems and New Media, Vienna University of Economics and Business, Austria. And also, our second panelist, Mr. Mikhail Empsen. He's a researcher at the Center of Educational Innovation, PXL, University of Applied Sciences and Arts, Belgium. And then we have our third panelist, Associate Professor Dr. Vassilis Barkoukis from the Department of Physical Education and Sports Science from Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, Greece. Now, I bid welcome to all our panelists of the day. Before we begin our session, let me first give all of our dearest audience a few heads up. We are currently streaming live from both CIDL official Facebook and CIDL official YouTube channel for 2 hours from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So please, to our dearest audience, do be very generous in hitting and smacking that like button, and also don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exciting news and information. We will also be anticipating questions or comments throughout the webinar, so don't be a stranger and drop your comments or questions in the comment or chat box. Now, let's not waste any more time. Let our day be enlightened with the new knowledge. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Salva. Yes, thank you for this very nice introduction. And I would just like to also say hello from my side, from Vienna. My name is Michael. Also, hello, Mikhail and Vassilis. Today, we are going to talk about designing interactive 360-degree videos for video learning experiences with Vivista. This all is in cooperation with, in cooperation with the Erasmus Plus funded project SEPA360, and we will find out all about Vivista and the project soon today. So the structure for today, for the next 2 hours, is divided into 3 parts. First, we would like to, Vassilis will start by introducing the project, the SEPA360 project. We will find out what SEPA360 stands for, what our goals are with this international project. And after that, we will continue and give you all the foundations to get started with 360-degree video, with the technology behind it, looking at the terminology, what you have to think about during the production workflow of producing the videos. We will give you an overview of basics to get started with the 360 camera and which 360 camera you could use. And all of this with a focus on higher education and educational background, so features to look out for when deciding, for example, for a camera. After that, we will have some time for question and answers from your side, from the comments. And part 2 will be focusing on the main input, actually designing the 360-degree video learning experience with a special software. This software is called Vivista. It's a 360-degree video editor, and we will demonstrate this software in part 2. Also here, we will have time for question and answers on the software. And finally, in part 3, we will talk about some scenarios we already implemented and we already have up and running and created with the Vivista 360-degree video editor, and just give you an impression of what's possible, what are the options and opportunities to design for learning, for video-based learning with 360-degree videos. So in this sense, I would now like to hand over to Vassilis, and please, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving us the opportunity to present our work in this workshop. And I would like to thank Michael for inviting me to give this presentation. Good afternoon to everybody. As Michael said, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the SEPA360 project, so you get to know, you get to understand what we try to do in this project. This is a project funded by the European Union, and at the moment 5 European universities participate. The University of Hull, who coordinates the project, University of Florence, Hogeschool EXL from Belgium, the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki in Greece, and the Vienna University of Economics and Business from Austria. The project lasts 3 years, and now we are ending the 2nd year of the project. So we have prepared several things that we would like to show it to you. How we came up with the idea of the project. We've seen that universities move slowly towards promoting distance learning, but we understood that there was a gap in this process. And this gap has to do with the way that university teachers and educators know about distance learning and online education. So we see that universities move forward to this direction, but the staff of the universities are not ready, is not ready for this change, for this movement. So what we try to do with this project is to develop the capabilities of the university teachers and educators in order to use online technologies to help them with their teaching. And more specifically, we focused on 360 degrees videos. And one of the main objectives of this project is to improve the students' abilities and transfer their learning in settings that they cannot attend otherwise, that is unfamiliar to them. In order to fulfill this aim, we stated four objectives. The first two have to do with the ability of the lecturers to develop and use these 360 degrees videos. And the idea behind this objective is, as I said before, that many educators in the universities do not know how to use 360 degrees videos. What we typically do is demonstrate to our students 2D videos that may not be so effective as 360 degrees videos. So the two first objectives of the project have to do with teaching educators, increasing their capability in order to create and effectively use these 360 degrees videos. Then we moved to students. The third objective of the project is to increase students' confidence and capability in using these videos. Students are also not familiar with this type of online technologies. So what we will try to do through this project is to help students learn how to use 360 degrees videos and use them more effectively in order to learn more from the material taught. And lastly, one target group that is really important in promoting online technologies in the universities are the decision makers in our universities. And actually, this is a target group that it's really difficult to approach and really difficult to persuade. So one of the main objectives of our project is to show to these decision makers what 360 degrees videos are and show them how to embed them in their procedures, in the university procedures. So by doing this in order to achieve these objectives, we have developed 5 outputs. The first one is a literature review about the use of 360 degrees videos in higher education, and a social media analysis about how people feel when using 360 degrees videos in their lessons. We have finalized this output, and you can see it in our website in the link shown in this slide. The second important output of the project is to develop the software where an educator can develop this 360 degrees video. And in this effort, we developed Vivista. And later on in this workshop, we will demonstrate how Vivista works. You can find the Vivista in this link that you can see in the slide. The next output that we decided to have in this project is to have a video library. That is, it's not only important to develop a software of how to develop 360 degrees videos, but to show some examples. That is, how educators can use these 360 degrees videos. So at the moment, we are developing this video library with at least 25 videos, 360 degrees videos that we are about to use in our lessons. And later on in this workshop, we will demonstrate some examples of these videos. Lastly, we understand that it's not enough if you show to some people, to educators, that there is another way to do their lessons, to develop 360 degrees videos. And we think it's important to develop some material to help them learn how to do it. And in this case, we are working at the moment on this. We will develop an online course. In this course, we will provide an introduction to 360 degrees video technology and how it can be applied in higher education. And we will provide materials for people to use. And around the end of this workshop, I will demonstrate you the manuals we have developed so far. Lastly, as we are going to use these 360 videos in our courses, we will test their effectiveness. So the last output of the project is to publish the results of this process, to inform the academic community whether these 360 degrees videos work or not. So this is still in the process. We have published the scoping study. We are in the process of publishing the social media analysis, and around the end of the project, we aim to publish the studies with the effectiveness of the 360 videos. In this process, there is a large group of people working. At the moment, we have 25 educators who serve as digital champions and prepare these videos. We are preparing videos in 18 disciplines, in disciplines ranging from chemical engineering to agricultural studies, sports in general, physical education and other types of sport, nursing sciences, business education, and this ensures that we will prepare examples that can be applied in several academic domains. And this is all from me. Now I would like to give the floor to Michael to present you the video and camera technology.
Thank you, Vassilis. I will try to share my screen as well, so I can have control over the slides. So I'm going to share my screen right now. So hello and good morning. It is in Belgium, but I think it's with you guys it's afternoon. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the wonderful introduction as well. So my name is Empsen indeed. I am from PXL University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Belgium. And I work as a full-time researcher within our Department of Educational Innovation. And my main focus is on 360-degree video and virtual reality. As you can see, there is my slide, the one that Vassilis introduced. But I'm going to start to introduce you to the concept of 360-degree video, just to give you an idea of what is existing, what are the differences. But before I'm going to do my explanation, I'm going to show you a short video, which will be the basis of my explanation.
If you go inside, if you dive inside, you can see some interesting parts of the engine. Go inside.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Ding dong dong.
Oh no.
So there you go. VR and 360 video, not always as fun as you might think. But there's a reason why I showed you this video. It's because I want to explain you two constructs, which are presence and immersion. As you can see in the title, VR is sometimes, or 360 the video, and VR is sometimes described as a strongly empathic machine, as said by Constant and Milk. But that is actually caused by two constructs. And the first one is presence. And as you have seen in the video, some people react very intense. And that is because this feeling of presence, which can be defined as a strong illusion that you as a user are really feeling present within this virtual world, but also that all the things that are happening in this virtual world feel realistic and are really happening. Now, presence is caused by immersion. And immersion are the objective characteristics of the device or technique or system that you are using, which has first been defined by Slater and Wilbur in 97. But later on, that definition has been added. And I think it's for the good as well, because it's not only the technique or the characteristics of the system that you're using, but it's also the combination of the system that you're using with the emotional context, which will contribute to a form of presence. So depending on the level of immersion that you're using, you will experience a different level of presence. And when I'm talking about immersion, I talk about devices and content. So there are three main kinds of devices. On the left side, you see the smartphone, tablet. Everyone has one these days. Second of all, there's a laptop or a computer screen, so you can just watch it on your computer. And at last, there is a VR headset. Now, I'm briefly going to introduce them. I'm not going to talk about them too much because they're usually more familiar. So the first one, a smartphone or tablet. There are free applications on your smartphone that you can download to watch, for example, 360-degree videos. Think of VR Media Player, VLC, MXVR. And the last one, Lifesaver VR, is actually an app that can help you to train or to teach basic life support. The navigation works very simple. So you just hold your smartphone in front of you. I can do it with mine. I hold it in front of me and I can just look around, and the perspective will be adapted into this perspective that I am currently watching. The second option is that you drag around with your finger to navigate. The advantage of this kind of immersional technique is that it has a very low threshold because everybody has a smartphone these days, so it's very easy to get started with. But then again, it has a low level of immersion because you're not really feeling present within the 360-degree video. The second one is pretty much the same. It's just that you have a larger screen, let's say. Again, there are free applications like Windows, Movies and Television, VLC. The navigation is, again, the same, but this time with your computer mouse. So you can just drag and drop around to navigate. And once again, it has a very low threshold because most people these days have a laptop or a computer. And again, a low level of immersion because you are interacted with it, but you're not really feeling present within it. If you're looking to get really present and really an immersive technique, then you are looking at the VR headsets. Just to categorize them a little bit, there are three main categories. So first of all, you have the smartphone headsets, the PC headsets, and the standalone headsets. I'm not going to talk much, at least I'm not going to go deep into the smartphone headsets, just because of the specific reason that they're, let's say the application of it is rather limited, because it's depending on the device that you're using, which is your smartphone, which is usually not very powerful enough to work with large 360-degree files, for example. But still, it could be a good way to get a first introduction or to experiment with it. So I'm mainly going to talk about the PC headsets, which you see on the left side, and the standalone headsets. So now what is the difference between them? You might already have seen it. The ones on the left side, the PC headsets, they have a cable which is attached to it, and the standalone headsets don't. That's for the very simple reason that a PC headset is a VR headset that you have to connect with your computer through the cable that is connected on the VR headset into your computer. And it has the advantage that the hardware within your computer is larger and usually also more powerful. When you place something on your computer, you have more power, let's say, and you can render this context through the cable into your VR headset, which will give you the advantage that you have higher quality and you will also reach higher resolutions, for example. A downside of it is that you are connected to a cable. So if you have, let's say, a large room where you want to walk around, but you are connected with the cable to your computer, yeah, the movement is limited. The cables are rather long, or you can buy a longer one, but you're still limited to a certain amount of movement space. Then on the other side, there are these standalone headsets, also has their benefits and downfalls. The main benefit is that it is standalone, as the word itself says. Everything is built in within the VR headset. So you don't need to connect it to a computer. You can just put it on, get the controllers, and inside of your headset, everything will be showed. There will be a menu where you can go to, for example, a download store to download VR applications. So it's all present in there. But that also holds the downfall of it, because everything is built in this VR headset. So it has to be made rather small because it all has to fit in there, which can cause it's not as powerful as the PC headsets. Another benefit is that the standalone headsets usually are a little bit cheaper than the ones you have to connect to a PC. Then reality, you have virtual reality, you have augmented reality, maybe you've heard of augmented virtual reality. There are a lot of types of reality, and after a while, people get lost. Okay, so what is what, and then which type of reality are you talking about right now? That's why there is a sort of a structure in it, let's say. Extended reality, XR, is the main term that we use to refer to all types of reality. It's virtual reality. And then under extended reality, you can see that augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality are just placed right beside each other and exist beside each other. To give you a more better idea of what they mean, I'm going to introduce them shortly. So the first one is augmented virtual reality. I also placed it on the slide. It is less commonly known, but it's mainly because its uses are rather limited. And as you will see in the video, it has a reversed workflow. So you wear a VR headset. For example, it is possible with the Oculus Rift from Facebook. And it will work in a reversed way. So you have the virtual reality headset on, but this will scan the real environment and put it into virtual reality, which is the other way around. And then, for example, as you can see, you can add videos and images into it. But it is rather limited use because the use cases just are more limited. Then you have augmented reality, which is morely known. How does this work? The video shows you an example of the IKEA app where you can just download the app. And for example, you have moved into a new house, so you want to decorate a room. You can hold your smartphone, look around, or go to the catalogs and say, okay, this chair looks nice. I'm going to select it and I'm going to take a look of how it would look like in this room. Important to know that with augmented reality, you are working with a digital filter, which is only present on your device. So there is only interaction on your screen, and you can twist it or you can replace it, but there is no interaction in reality. So, of course, as you might have guessed, the chair won't be physically present in the room. It will just be a digital filter. It could be done by a smartphone or tablets, but also with smart glasses, but it's a rather expensive option, but still is an option. The next one is mixed reality. This is something that people often confuse with virtual reality, but I'm going to explain that in a next step. Mixed reality actually goes a step further than augmented reality, since with mixed reality, as you will see in the video, there is an integration between the digital filter that you are working on, but also with the reality. As you see right now in the video, the digital filter is telling you to twist it around. The person is doing it in reality. But it will recognize it. As you can see, he has to lift the tube, but also when he lifts the tube, it will be registered by the digital filter. So there really is an interaction in this case. Also, if this would be augmented reality, it would have stayed before the device that is in reality, while with mixed reality, you really have depth and you can put things inside objects. This can be done with a HoloLens, but it's a rather expensive option or choice because a HoloLens, I'm not sure about the prices, but the last time I checked, they were around 3,500 euros. So that's not that cheap, but it's very interesting still to look into. And then there is virtual reality. With virtual reality, the entire world is virtual or digitalized, let's say. Now, there are two main categories. There are still other variants like Dome VR or Cave VR, but those are less relevant right now. It's good to know that there is a difference between animated VR or rendered VR and realistic VR, but they are both giving you a virtual 360-degree world. So if we first look into virtual reality animated, I also have a video about it to give you an idea. The complete 360-degree video is animated. This has the advantage that there are no limits or boundaries because it's all designed by computers. So all the ideas or thoughts that you have can be created. The disadvantage sometimes is that it is further away from reality. As you can see, this is realistic, but not as realistic as you would be sitting in front of your desk. So that's a little bit of a pitfall, but still this has the advantage that you can also always redo this instruction, and you can learn from it. For those who want to know, this application is called Short Circuit that you are seeing right now, and it's to design electrical circuits, for example. So it could be something that students who are learning electricity could benefit from. And then the other variety of virtual reality is realistic, and I'll also place 360 video with it because that's how we make them. But my colleague will go into that more in deep in just a second. So what I want to say still about this virtual reality, the realistic version, is that it's just realistic. It's very authentic, as you can see over here in this video. The brand Insta360, which is a brand of a camera type, they have a YouTube channel where they sometimes just post some very interesting 360-degree videos. And in this scenario, it's a really advanced scenario because they've attached a 360-degree camera onto a drone to fly over an active volcano. But as you can see, this is very realistic. And if you would make this in animated or rendered VR, it would not feel the same because there is a different level of authenticity going on. So this is being filmed with a 360-degree camera, which allows you to make a recording of the complete surrounding. But my colleague Michael will tell you more about that right now. I will stop sharing my screen and let him continue.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I will just share my screen in a second. So we already heard the one argument or one actual benefit of using using 360-degree video is when you're looking at virtual reality. As we saw before, the animated version, you have to think about building and modeling this animation. So that's quite complex, and in this case it's more easier to take a 360-degree video recording, and it's a very easy way to also get started with virtual reality, in this case of viewing this 360-degree video via a virtual reality headset. But virtual reality headsets is not the only case. In this case, you can simply also view this via a browser-based web player or on your regular video player if it is supporting 360-degree projects. We'll get to this in a second. So for example, here, this video, as an example, is a video I recorded inside our Auditorium Maximum. And as you can see here, you can look around, you can see me talking. In this case, I am showcasing the lecture hall, and you can look around and get an idea of the lecture hall, turn around, where's the blackboard, and so on. So this should give you an impression of actually using a 360-degree video, moving around and watching it, which is already something, an extension to the regular video. So you can record complete surroundings and you can change your viewing perspective based on what you want to look at. Also, I want to note that you will see those QR codes at the top right. In this case, you can scan them and always receive the links you will see inside the slide. So it's an easier way of actually getting to what you're viewing here as a video. So the question now, in order to produce a 360-degree video, you need a 360-degree camera. And in this case, a camera has two lenses. And it will produce a dual lens video. So as you can see here, this is a 360-degree camera. It has two fisheye lenses, which in the end will produce a dual lens video. Now, in this case, you will be able to play this video, but we will only see it in this format, so two video projections on each side. So in this case, a very important term or terminology to get used to when using 360-degree video is the term stitching. So as you can see here, stitching basically means that you transform the dual lens video into an equirectangular projection. Note here that there are different projections. We will simply stick with the equirectangular projection because we don't want to cover all those technical details. And as well as, for example, if you upload an equirectangular projection to YouTube, say, they will handle the transforming. But in one very important step, you will need to stitch the video. You will need to transform it into an actual 360-degree video. And to do this, the vendors of the 360-degree cameras have different apps available. So there are actually for each 360-degree camera separate proprietary apps for desktop and for mobile to basically stitch or transform this video into a usable, viewable 360-degree video. So as you already see, there are certain steps to think about when using a 360-degree video and wanting to produce something for, in this case, in our case, for an educational use case. So just highlighting here the steps to think about in terms of production, post-processing, and delivery. So we will look at production, for example, where you need to cover the camera, need to handle the camera and start and stop the recording, for example. The post-processing mainly being the stitching, but also maybe being cutting and merging some videos. And in the end, the delivery. So thinking about where am I going to deliver it? Will it be optimized for headsets, for virtual reality headsets, or are we looking at actually simply delivering the video via YouTube or any other video-based learning platform, for example, where students may watch this on a flat screen? So these are the main production workflow steps to think about. And with each of those steps come certain challenges or certain points to think about. And I'm going to go into details about this right now. So for example, the camera handling. As you can see here, we have the 360 camera. This one is from Ricoh. And at first, they don't have this classic video camera feel. So you don't have an actual viewfinder or a preview LCD screen as you may know it from older camcorders or even with your smartphone, where you can preview what you are actually producing. And so this already is a new feeling. So first you have to think about, okay, how will I be doing starting and stopping the camera? And in an educational context, it may be of use to think about that. For example, when you are wanting to produce a lot of videos fast, you don't want to always go to the camera and click the button. As you can see it here, the button is, for example, in the middle of the camera, but you may want to do this remotely. So each camera has a remote control application which you can download for your mobile device in order to remotely control the camera. Now with this, you have sometimes the issues of connection and losing the connection, building up the connection. So depending on your setting, you need to think about this, which one is the better one. Do you want to do it via the button, for example, which goes fast, via the remote connection, which may have some connection issues? Another point is the feedback and the status information of the camera. Now, we also saw this in some examples and scenarios we did. As you can see here, for example, on the side, you have just one single LED showing you a certain status of the camera. And from this, you can derive, is it recording? Is it powered? Is there something wrong? And sometimes this can be misinterpreted. And if you don't have, for example, the mobile app, you may be not recording, even if you think you were recording. So these are things to look out for and to check, especially when you may be recording something for an educational exam in order to get feedback on a video recording. And another point is the preview and feedback. So as we know from regular camcorders, you have an LCD screen showing you the actual video. And With the first generation 360-degree cameras, these preview screens are not there. So also here you will have a mobile app to actually preview what you are looking at, what you are recording. And in this case, you also need to find out, in this case, for example, which lens will be the front-facing lens, but we'll get to that later. So these are things handling when you're handling the camera, to be prepared, and it makes sense to practice this beforehand and think about, okay, what will be my workflow of actually starting the recording and seeing the status of the recording. Which brings me to the next point of actually placing the camera. So before you record the camera, you want to place it. And in this case, what you can see here is different positions we tried out in a basic seminar room, different positions where we recorded a teacher training session. And in this case, for example, we placed the camera on a tripod on an actual chair in order to imitate the viewing angle and the height of a person actually sitting next to you. And in this case, things to think about are environment variables. So you cannot place the camera in the middle of the room, even if it makes sense for some setting. But maybe in this case, for example, it was teachers training, an actual teaching class. The teacher will be running around in the room, so you will be in the way of the person walking in the room. So that's why we placed it on chairs. So how intrusive are you going to be with placing the camera? Eye leveling. So placing the camera on an eye level, what we found here is that if you move it a little bit below the eye level, it's better than having it actually on the eye level. And the viewing angle, which brings me to the front and back lens, which also here is a practice point just to find out, okay, what is the front-facing camera and what is the back-facing camera? Because in the end, there will be meta information placed within the 360-degree video. And for example, if you then start it up on YouTube, you may be looking in the wrong direction when you start it. So knowing this will make it easier for you in the post-processing if you want to change this, for example. Here we can once again see these positions, and just as a note, we asked the students which position, we showed them different recordings, and we asked them which positions they prefer also in comparison to lecturers. And we found that students actually watching their teaching performance, they preferred positions number 1 and 2 in this case. So actually having the feeling of sitting there and watching your own teaching performance. And for the actual examiner, for the person, the educator, actually the positions number 3 and 4 were more of interest, because you had the complete overview of the class. So again, there's no optimal point to find out the best position. Also here, a caveat is that, for example, mounting the camera, watch out for the different vendors' mounting options. For example, the GoPro version requires a special mounting kit, but in this case, most cameras provide a compatible mounting option. Here you can see different positions we experimented with. So the top left, you can see a negotiation setting we experimented with by placing the camera in the middle of the table. The right image shows you the placement of the tripod on the actual chair. And at the left bottom, you can see a library tour we were producing by simply placing the camera at the lower level a bit, so that you don't have the feeling you're hovering above. Post-processing, as I already said, the term stitching, you have to think about that also in terms of time management. So let's say you have an educational setting where you will be producing a lot of 360-degree videos, in the sense of you have a seminar which goes over the whole day, and you will producing 10 videos with 20 minutes each, because you are recording a teacher training exam and you will want to give the feedback or the video feedback to the students. So in this case, thinking about how to upload this and how much time this will take if you want to do this quickly, think about that the stitching process will take about 50% of the video length to stitch. There are different vendors, so we already heard this, that the camera vendor will provide you with an actual application to stitch, but there are also other applications applications out there, we would suggest to go with the vendor application, because then it is optimized for the camera settings. Yeah, the last step is actually delivering the video. So in this case, there are 3 options to deliver, and in the first and the flat version would be the web-based video player, or simply the video player. So software such as VLC video player, web-based frameworks, or YouTube also all support 360-degree video viewing. And the next step would be to go with a cardboard. So cardboard would be a simple device where you can add your mobile device to view it in an immersive way. We found from actually talking to the students who tried all 3 elements that the cardboard was the least they wanted to use for actually viewing the video and working with it. And the last option would be the head-mounted display, the virtual reality headset, which we already heard about by Mikael. Come in a mobile and a cable-based version. You have base stations, you have no base stations, but it gives you the full feature set of actually getting to the point of the feeling of immersion and presence. But note that you will need additional hardware, in this case, a head-mounted display, and in any case also a powerful PC to run this. So that would be the workflow. And looking at the cameras themselves, there are cameras from all price ranges. You have the Samsung Gear 360, which is quite cheap to get started, and you will move to very expensive cameras. As you can see here, for example, the Kandao Obsidian Go, and even more expensive ones, such as the Insta360 professional cameras. We, in our project, are aiming for the middle cameras here, which are marked green. So this will be the Ricoh Theta V, or the Insta360 One X2, or the GoPro Fusion Max, for example. Now, when getting started, here we can see some other vendors who are also producing 360 cameras. Within the project, we have experience with Insta360, Ricoh, and GoPro, and also Kandao from PXL in this case. And the last point from my side before we go into questions and answers would be, okay, you now know what to do with a 360-degree camera, you know the technology, but you want to buy something, or you want to get and start using it. So what do you look out for, especially when looking at an educational context? So in this case, you have the resolution of the camera, and from our experience with working with the camera, you may want to look out for something starting with 4K and above. Now, you will be able to record full HD, but depending on your setting, for example, if you have a video where you want to identify the facial expressions of somebody sitting across you, across the room, it will be not viewable in full HD. So going with something starting at 4K is indeed needed. Then another thing is the storage. So having the option to extend your storage and memory slot, having an exchangeable memory slot, or working with an internal flash storage does make a difference, because if you have a lot of recordings, for example, for one day, it's probably suggestible to go with an exchangeable memory slot. But if you're maybe thinking about using the 360-degree camera as a device which you may want to hand out to students, having an exchangeable memory slot will actually give you one more device students can lose or have problems with. So in this case, for example, it would be more suggestible to go with an internal flash storage. The same goes with the battery. So there are different types of cameras offering exchangeable batteries and internal batteries. And one very important thing is also to note that with certain vendors, for example, with the Ricoh cameras, you have a maximum time of recording. It's very hard to find this out. Sometimes it is noted in the specifications of the camera, but not always. And in this case, for example, with the Ricoh Theta V, there is a limitation of 25 minutes to record. These limitations vary, and they are, for example, not present with the Insta360 cameras. Then you have additional features with the cameras, which are sometimes marketed in a way, but some things to point out is here the reframing option. So if you want to reframe a video and, for example, not have the actual 360-degree video, but only show a selected viewport of the video, then this would be the place to go to. And then last point, the usability being the option of having a preview screen, for example, which is the GoPro camera, or having no preview screen. Both have their pros and cons. So for having a preview screen will use a lot of battery. Having no preview screen will extend your battery life. Here we can see this in a table where basically you can also see the price range. So if you're talking about euros, you have a price range starting from 120 up to 1,000, and different options to look at. So in this case, we are now at the point of actually going into the software demonstration, but I think we have now some time to look into questions and answers, maybe from the community watching. I will maybe unshare my screen and ask into the round if there are any questions. So let's see, do we have any questions? Okay, so how do you apply 360 degree?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is from Mr. Niza. Sorry again for the technical glitch. The question is, how do you apply 360 video concept in visual art education, such as fine art? Thank you so much for the question, Mr. Niza.
Okay, that's a great question. So visual art education, I have to say I myself have a business education background, so I am not a fine arts student or education background. But what I would think about is that you could, for example, as you can record the complete surrounding, I would imagine, I'm not sure, by producing fine art, there isn't only one perspective of looking into one direction when you are maybe producing art, doing a painting, but please excuse me if I'm using the wrong terms. So maybe it would be great to have a look at the workshop you are in. So what is your procedure? And instead of filming each of those procedures separately, you could film the complete surrounding of showing actually how does it work to produce art? Where would you go? What would, yeah, so things like that. I don't know, Mikael or Vassilis, if you want to add something.
Yeah, maybe I can add still that a colleague at our university who teaches history used this concept of 360-degree video. It was an existing video on YouTube, I think, or on Vimeo, which showed a museum, for example, but also if you're looking at art or the way things are built, for example, architecture, I think is the correct word in English. For example, there is a 360-degree video of the cathedral in Barcelona, I think it is. So for example, that could be an option. It's not always easy to travel to Barcelona, especially now during COVID. So it could be interesting if you have videos like that and you can really immerse and let your students feel present within this cathedral, for example, and then they can take a better look at it. So that could be a use case where you use 360-degree video.
Okay.
Oh, yep. You see, well, this unmute mute thing is contagious. Okay, all right. Well, we've got another question here. All right, so this one is from Isham Ghani. Hi all, in your opinion, which method offers a more realistic immersive experience in VR? Using 360 cameras to provide the contents, or using game engine? So this is the question from Isham Ghani. So who would like to answer?
Mika, I mean, you have the background of developing, or with, we will show the software, but I think comparing this is difficult. More realistic and immersive experience, I think. I mean, we can discuss this, but I would go with actually having the 360-degree camera to provide the content, because it's the actual recording of your real environment. So you won't be able, or I mean, you are able if you look at certain games, but to get to the point of showing the real surrounding as it is, you always have to model it. And also the term modeling. So you will need to look into this building the model. So this is more work, more time to put into it. So starting would be easier with the 360 camera and more immersive, more realistic. Michael, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree indeed. Maybe to give the same example as I just did in the use case of for example, a 360-degree video in a cathedral. If you compare it, you make a 360-degree video within a cathedral, or you make it animated and you draw it up and you really make it with the software. It will be, first of all, very difficult to make all the architectural aspects work out in a rendered version or an animated version, while in a realistic 360-degree video, it will be as realistic as it is just standing there. It's just the same as with a normal camera, where you will be filming something and it will be really realistic. Also, maybe as an example, if you're looking at fine arts, there is a VR application. I don't recall the name, but it's a free application that I think you can download via Steam or via the software of Oculus. And then you're, for example, just in a large empty space, and with your controllers, you can just start drawing. So you have two controllers, so you have a color panel, and you can start designing things, but it's just floating around in the air. So it will be, for example, a great way to experiment, try things out. But as you can notice, it will not be as realistic as you are working on a real chair, for example. If you are drawing it up from nothing, it will look realistic, but it won't feel realistic in comparison when you're really filming something that is realistic in real life.
All right. Thank you, Mikael. Yes, Mr. Safwat.
Yes, Miss Susie. Yep.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mikael. Thank you, Mikael. So we have one more question. Actually, we have one more question from Mr. Niza Nazrin from our Facebook page. All right. So how is 360-degree VPL approach better than normal video recording in terms of video angle and viewing for student learning? So might be Prof, you would like to answer this question, Prof. Barkoukis?
Actually, this is a question that Michael or Mikael should answer.
All right. Okay.
From an educational perspective, I would say that it's easier for the student to see the whole process. That is, the student doesn't see only one aspect of the area, so he can see the whole area. And this is something that I will demonstrate later on in my example, in my scenario. And in this case, he can be more immersed in the process.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you, Prof. So, yes. So, might be Mikael, you would like to add something to the answer? Yes.
Yeah, just also that it has the advantage in certain situations. For example, like in a project we work together with teachers from secondary education. So let's say that the pupils are around an age of 13 to 14 years old. And they had a topic about traffic safety. So if you have truck drivers who are driving around, and what he did, he just contacted a company who has trucks, let's say. And on the play yard of the school, they placed a truck. And what they did is they had students walking around the truck, and there was a 360-degree camera, which was placed on the seat of the truck driver. So you really get the feeling, okay, so I'm the truck driver. It wasn't driving around or anything, but there were students walking around. So as you would watch this video with a VR headset, it will really feel like you are a truck driver, and you can look around with your agency that you have, because you can choose in which perspective that you are looking. For example, you could see that, okay, in my left mirror, I can still see the student. Oh, but at this point, I can't see him anymore. So I'm experiencing this right now myself as a student, so I need to pay attention to it, that if I'm in that area of a truck, I'm in danger. So that is the advantage of 360 in comparison to normal traditional 2D video, that you really have the agency or the control to look around and focus on certain aspects. But
oh my goodness, so it is really interesting, Mikael. I would like to watch that video sometimes. Maybe you can somehow share. Did you upload this video in YouTube?
It's not on YouTube, but we will make a library. So we're currently working on
I
within the
see.
project. So we will post all the videos that we are making, as Vassilis Barkoukis has mentioned. There will be a library where we will post all those scenarios, so you can freely watch and download them to check them out.
All right. Thank you very much. So, thank you, Mikhail. Thank you, Prof. Barkoukis. So we're going to continue with whatever that you would like to present. So yeah, your floor. This floor is yours again. Thank you.
Thank you. I will share my screen again. It should be popping up at any second right now. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna go introduce the Vivista software. Maybe as a short introduction, we started to look into the potential of 360-degree videos around, let's say, the year 2016. And what we noticed is, as I've mentioned just in the example just a second ago with the truck, is that students, or as a user, you have a lot of agency within a 360-degree video. And that's very positive because you really have the agency to look around and, okay, this is interesting, this is something that I want to focus on. But it also could have a pitfall that you're too overwhelmed about the environment. Let's say, for example, if I would place a 360-degree camera in the center of New York, where lots of people are walking around, there is traffic going on, there are lights, it could be overwhelming, also in other situations. And that's why it's sometimes needed to get some support or some guidance within this 360-degree video. And that's why we started to develop the Vivista software. So what is Vivista? Vivista is actually used, as you see on the left side, to transfer a 360-degree video, as you can see on the right side, into a 360-degree video lesson. So really to add some educational content to it, to get a didactic foundation with it. But first of all, Vivista is the name of the software. It is open source, which means that it's freely to download and you can just use it without any limits. It is used to enrich stitched 360-degree videos. So as Michael Feurstein also already mentioned, once you have made a 360-degree video, you have to stitch it to make it in the size that you want it to be. And once it is in that size, or that format, let's say, you can start to enrich and view it with the 360-degree Vivista software. So what does the Vivista software add, or what does it allow? It allows you to add this didactic foundation and to add some attention points to focus the attention of the students, to guide them. And how is this done? It is done by just-in-time enrichment. So you have a 360-degree video, and you can start to enrich them with bullet points or interaction points which contain content. And we've structured them in a form of instruction, information, and tests. But Michael will show that later on, so I'm not going to talk about it too theoretically. So it's better to see it and experience it. But good to know, Vivista is the name of the software, but it exists in two parts. It's a Vivista editor on the one side and a Vivista player on the other side. It are two separate files that you need to download and install, but it's very easy. It just literally is a basic install module, and it takes, I think, maybe 30 seconds to install it. But in the editor on the one side, I will show it to you. It is software where you will be enriching the 360-degree video. So this is a overview of the possibilities, but we will start at the bottom. So you see text, image, 2D video, audio, multiple choice question, search area, table, and chapter. So these are the interaction points that you can literally add to the 360-degree video. When we first started to develop the software, we only had text, image, 2D video, and I think a multiple choice question with text. But during the years and based on feedback, we've added interaction points. And as you can see, there are now a variety of interaction points. So it became important to structure them. When you're in a 360-degree video and you're watching it, there can be interaction points that pop up, but it's after a while hard to know what is expected from me. Will it something that will inform me? Is it an instruction that I would have to follow, or will I maybe receive a test? And that's why we've worked with a color system to categorize them. So always, if you will see a yellow triangle, it will mean that you will receive instruction, for example, in the form of text or an image or a normal 2D video. The green square will mean that you will receive information, so for example, supportive information. And the blue dot will always point that you will receive a test, for example, the multiple choice question. Maybe also handy to know is that these colors, not the ones that you're seeing right now, but the ones who are integrated within the Vivista software, are also compatible with people who have problems with eyesight. I don't know the correct English term for it, but some people see a difference in color. So that's these colors are adjusted, so they are universal. So people who have experienced colors in another way sometimes, that shouldn't be a problem. And then right before we reach the title of Vivista Editor, you see just in time. And that's mainly, actually, even one of the most important aspects, is that you can offer it just in time. For example, the example that I gave about the truck, I am as a student, I'm watching it from the seat of the truck driver, and I see something happening, for example. Then I can, that moment, I can put an interaction point in it. It will be just in time, in the moment when I need this information or instruction, for example, but it will also disappear when it is no longer necessary. But Michael will show that later in the demo. And just to give you a preview idea of what an interaction point would look like, on the left top, you will see a interaction point of an image. On the left bottom, an interaction point of a multiple choice question with an image. And on the right side, a multiple choice question with a search area. The last slide, I think it is for me now, is the Vivista player. So as I said, you have the editor and the player. And the player is a second version of the other part of the software that you need to download. And that is where you will be watching the videos that you have enriched in the editor. So for example, you as a teacher would probably have the editor version and the player, but students usually only have the player because they only need to receive the files that you have edited as a teacher. And they will watch it. So they can't edit it anymore within the player. So they will receive a video and they can see it as you have edited it. Important to know that the Vivista software is not yet or not compatible with a smartphone, but it is compatible with your laptop or computer and a VR headset that is connected with a laptop or computer. So it is not compatible with the standalone headsets because Vivista software is not an application. And if a standalone headset only works with applications. Maybe good to know there is one exception. Maybe if you know something about VR headsets, you know, the Oculus Quest, for example, from Facebook. They have made a adaptation, let's say. They have a software called Oculus Link. And when you download that software, you can connect your standalone headsets with a cable to your computer, and the software that you have installed will make it function as a PC headset. So the Oculus Quest could also be an option in this case, but that's the only example regarding the standalone headsets. And then I am going to give the word to Michael.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I'm just going to share my screen and show you actually the 360-degree video editor, what we heard just now, the Vivista. So you should now be seeing a screen of the Vivista editor. I hope this works. I'm just going to wait a short moment. Yes, okay, we can see that. So in this case, I opened the Vivista editor, and you can see here, I will now create a new scenario. In this case, I will call it Showcase September, and I will add a file to it. In this case, I am using a recording, which I just showed you before. It's the lecture recording of the Auditorium Maximum. And what you can see now is the 360-degree video. And as I want to point out here, I was talking earlier about the default camera position. So now here we have the default camera position looking to the side. So also here I would need to change this information later with my video editor of, for example, saying this is the initial position. So now what you can see here is the editor. At the top you have the video. When you can look at the top right, you can see your viewing angle. So you will see here where are you looking, and at the bottom you have a timeline and the editor pane where you can add the interactions. So in this case, I'm just going to add an interaction by clicking in the video. For example, it would make sense. I will just show you 3 interactions in this case. a multiple choice image question. So you heard earlier, we can now choose what is this, what we are going to insert. It's a test, and we will want to ask which building is this lecture hall located in? And I can now add images. For example, we have the prepared images here for our buildings at our campus, and I will insert them here. So you have different images you can insert. And for example, here it would be the teaching center, which is the correct answer. And now I would mark this answer as correct and insert it by clicking done. So now you can see at the very bottom, you have the interaction. You can preview the interaction by hovering over it, and you have a timeline representation showing you where the interaction starts and where it ends. Now, in order to change this, you simply drag and drop. So you could say, okay, I want to show this interaction the complete video. In the video, you can see where this interaction is placed. Now, if you want to move this interaction, for example, you can click these arrows here and move the interaction somewhere else in the video, for example, maybe to the side. And you may also want to edit it again by going back to the location, to the editor, or delete it. Now, there's also a exclamation mark here, which is a information that you can make this interaction mandatory. This would mean, for example, I could say, okay, this interaction should stop after 45 seconds. And after those 45 seconds, I still have time, if I haven't used the interaction, to actually answer the interaction. So in this case, you can pause the video in order to have the viewer actually interact with this interaction and make sure that he interacts. So another interaction will be, for example, adding an image. So I can also just play the video here and show it here. So for example, at the point of some point where I'm showing the video, I could say, okay, I want to showcase what is actually located here by inserting an image. So that will be, for example, simply information where I say, okay, this is the Audimax control panel where you can control the room. You can start your presentation, change the slides, etc. In this case, you will simply, for example, show this starting maybe after 10 seconds to show it here. And another very interesting interaction would be, which makes sense not only in this case, but maybe also in natural landscape scenarios where you maybe want to identify dangerous areas or areas which are prone to change maybe in the future. So in this case, this will be a find area interaction. I'm just going to show you this find area interaction, which will be an instruction again to, for example, in this case, find the studio room in this lecture hall in order to continue watching the video. So what I will be doing now is add an area, and now as you can see at the top left, you have click on the background to add points. I can now look around and define, okay, in this case we have a studio room up here, so I would mark this studio room and say, okay, this is the area the student has to click in order to continue watching, or this is the area which is correct. There is also a multiple choice question for this. And I can also add multiple areas. So I can say, okay, there's actually, if you click here, it will also count. So this way you can define different areas where the person needs to click. And I can now click on done, and the interaction is here, as you can see here. And I will also show this interaction for the complete video. And I'm just going to now switch to another application in order to show you what this looks like. So now I will save it, showcase September, and shortly I will now stop my screen and open another application. Just 1 second. In this case, I'm now starting the Vivista player and also starting a share of this. So give me 1 second. That will be I'm now starting the share, so it should show up in a few seconds. Now you can see the 360-degree video player. Michael already talked about this. There is this player and editor, and I just want to show to you how does it look like when you for example, have this multiple choice image question or this area identification. So this was the Showcase September scenario, and as you can see here, we are now looking at this video. I can play it and look around and have a go at the video. And first thing is, you notice we inserted 3 interactions. In this case, we only see 2 interactions because interaction 3 should pop up at around 10 seconds, or yeah, at around 10 seconds it pops up here. So if we click here, we can now see, this is the Audimax control panel. I can change the volume of the room, do things here, and close this panel again. So this would be an example of actually showing an image. This is me talking here. And another interaction, how does it look? The multiple choice image question would be, okay, which building is this lecture hall located in? In this case, I'm going to answer it correctly and click on this building here, check my answer, and see, okay, this is the correct answer. We are located here in this building. And finally, showing you the area. How does it look? In this case, you will get a pop-up, find the studio room, and you can now start this interaction. And I can now click in the video. So what I'm doing right now is actually clicking in the video. The video is paused, nothing happens. And as soon as I click on the correct area, so in this case, I'm clicking on the studio shield here, screen. And in this case, this is the correct answer. I found the studio, and now I can continue with the video. So those are just a few interactions which I wanted to show to you. Yeah, and giving you an idea of actually creating an immersive 360-degree video learning experience. So this will be the tool to actually create an immersive learning experience. And Michael already noted this. You can watch this on a flat screen on your PC. But you can also, if you have a headset connected, this will automatically load into your headset. So there's no extra steps you need to take. So the software recognizes when there is a headset connected. And in this case, it shows it to you on your headset. And then you have the actual immersive learning experience. So I think now we have time for some answers, questions and answers. And I'm also going to share the link where you can download this application if this is of interest. So I'm going to stop sharing, and maybe somebody can manage the questions and answers while I'm posting. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Hello again. I'm back. All right. So let's see if we have any questions from the audience. All right. So there's a question from Madam Salwa Othman. What is your opinion on the use of 360 video in the area of teaching and learning of linguistics, or in the area of language learning? How can educators in this area apply it into their teaching and learning? Linguistics or language. Mm-hmm. So maybe
yes.
Yep. All right.
This rings a bell. We did a scoping study on different scenarios, and during the scoping study, we found a publication which was actually doing exactly this, a language learning application in this case. And what they did was record different scenarios of people interacting with each other, or actually recording a discussion with somebody, as you would be the camera in this case. And inside this application, they then added interactions of saying, okay, now you have this person said something in this foreign language. How would you respond, for example, in order to learn how to interact on a cultural way, for example. And you get different options to answer. And as well, on top of that, there was a recording of the audio, which was then analyzed in a way. So these would be options to maybe integrate this in language learning. Yeah, maybe, I don't know about any other scenarios, but this was from the scoping study.
If I may, Michael.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
One idea that came to my mind was that you can record a session in a training station, and then you can add interactions that you can facilitate understanding of what is said during the training session. And I'm saying so because this was one of the most difficult parts when I was learning a second language. So you can use 360 degrees videos to enhance the experience of the learners.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael and Prof. Barkoukis. All right, do we have any more questions? Thank you so much, Madam Salwa, for the question also. All right, yep. Madam Salwa, the floor is yours.
All right. So first of all, thank you so much for the explanation and also for the answers. I will definitely be sharing that with my colleagues who are in the linguistic fields as well as in the teaching and learning of language. We have another question right over here from Mr. Nizar. Is there any community that shares their recording online on their local scenes? It's not easy for one to travel the whole world to prepare the content, especially for education purposes. So yeah. Probably
Yes.
can, yeah.
I don't know, anyone.
Yeah, I can say something about it.
Open question.
Yeah, no problem. It's a very interesting question indeed, because that is a question that we are wondering ourselves sometimes, and also part of the initiative why we wanted to share all the videos that we create. You can go on YouTube, Vimeo, maybe other video platforms, and you will find educational 360-degree videos, but it's not always easy to get them because they're not always free to download. For example, YouTube is not always accessible to download videos. So there isn't a go-to channel, I would say, but that's why we also, part of this project, started the initiative to share all the videos that we create will be posted online. That's why we also will be creating a video library where we'll be posting the videos just to share them, because we think, or we believe at least, in open practices, because if we create something, others could benefit from it, and vice versa. So that's why we started the initiative ourselves. But if you're looking for specific videos, you will find some online, but the issue will mainly be to get them onto your computer stored locally. Don't know if any of my other colleagues want to mention something about it still.
Yes, actually, I want to underline this, that this is one aim of also the project of providing a library where everybody can go to its public library to download those videos. So the more we have here, the better. I just posted the link to our website in the chat, and there's also an option to subscribe to our newsletter. And as we are actually in the development of finalizing this library, we cannot show it currently, but there will be a library upcoming with scenarios. So this will be a place to go to in order to explore different scenarios. And as already Mikael said, there are different channels on YouTube which provide material, but used with caution. So yeah, I can just point out this library we are working on, and if you are interested, then subscribe to the newsletter so you get the update.
I see. Thank you very much. On that note as well, will there be any possibility that participants or people who have had good hands on this application, that they can submit their videos to the data bank and contribute as well? Will there be any possibility as such?
Yes, absolutely. So this will be a feature of the library, to open it to the public so anybody can upload and register in order to upload the scenarios.
Nice. That's very good. Very assuring to hear that as well. It's especially when it comes to with us, the people who trying to get to know the application or try to use 360 video camera. So this is a really good initiative. Really good initiative. Yeah.
Great.
Dianna, do you have anything to add?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Salwa. Thank you, Madam Salwa. All right. So, Michael, you know that with this 360 recording, we're going to have this new opportunity by which to sustain the engagement and immerse the audience. So, one of the questions from the audience, actually from Mr. Safwat, okay, do we need to use devices with certain specs to operate with the software?
Yes,
Mhm.
I think Mikael can also answer this, but basically you need a graphic card, and
Graphic card.
you need a how do you say a GeForce GTX, but the exact numbers I don't have them. But basically you need to look that you have a VR enabled graphic card. There are loads of them on the market, and the problem is, yeah, currently the prices are quite high for those graphic cards, so it's a bit challenging to get them. But I think Mikael can continue and maybe tell you something about the specifications in detail.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Michael. So we're going to move to Mikael. All right, Mikael.
Thank you. So indeed, as Michael mentioned, there are some certain minimum specifications that your laptop or computer should have. It is possible, in theory, let's say, to use on any computer. For example, the computer the laptop I'm working with right now also has Vivista. It doesn't has the specifications it needs, but it just doesn't work smoothly. You can install it and use it then, but it will be very static. It will just not work smoothly. It will get stuck. It will move on. It will get stuck again. So that's why a computer needs some certain minimum specifications. And we have listed them on our manual. So maybe it's easier if I post the link to the manual where you have a list of the specifications that should be implemented, because it's really detailed, like an Intel Core i5 9400, AMD Ryzen 5 3400G. That's what I'm just reading now because I can't remember it myself. There are some certain minimum specifications that you need. And maybe to give you a price idea, we recently were looking into laptops ourselves. And you can find them for around, like, for example, €1,500. Can you find an example, for example? Can you find a compatible laptop for the Vivista software?
Oh, right. So thank you, Michael. I have seen your message in our YouTube and Facebook channel in the comment box. These are the minimum spec asked for Intel Core i5 9400 AMD Ryzen 5340G. All right, everyone, please get these laptops. So we're going to embark into this 360-degree video journey together. So yeah, thank you very much, Mikael, for the information. Thank you very much, Michael, for your answer just now. All right, so we're going to continue with session 3, presentation of selected 360-degree scenarios. All right, the floor is yours again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I shared my screen. Can you see my screen? Yep. Okay, perfect. So as we're moving to the last session of this workshop, we are going to discuss a little bit about the scenarios and give you some examples. Michael already showed you how to develop, how to edit and stitch a video. Now we will see some videos that we have already prepared, and we will explain the logic, the rationale behind these videos. Before that, as I said in my introductory presentation, it's important to understand that although you attend this workshop, it's difficult to memorize all this information and be able to use them by your own. So we developed 3 manuals that we will provide all this information in much more detail than the ones presented in this workshop. More specifically, we developed a guide for educators. In this guide, in this manual, we present the benefits of using 360 degrees videos. We present case studies, examples of such videos, and we provide some information for educators on how they can integrate these videos into their teaching and learning processes. The second manual we developed is a technical guidebook, and this is pretty much what we presented so far in the previous session. How to use Vivista, how you can select a camera, what are the specifications for the material you need to have in order to produce a 360 degrees videos. And the last manual we prepared was about the policy makers, because as I said in my introductory presentation, it's important for policymakers to understand the value of integrating 360 degrees videos into regular teaching and learning processes. So in this manual, we try to describe the benefits of using this approach, and we provide some information about the cost, the copyrights, the specifications of the cameras you need to have, and so on. And you can find these manuals in our website. Here in the slide, you can see the link. They are 95% ready. We're still working on finalizing some issues, but it's very easy to download them and very useful to read them. It will give you an overview of what we discussed in this workshop, and you can take this information and use it by yourself. Now we will move to provide some examples, and I'm going to give you an example of a video we developed here in the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, a video that has to do with teacher training and more specifically physical educators. That is, we want to prepare our students to become physical educators, and one of the problems we have is that we don't have always access to classes, to school classes. So even if we have access to student classes, we cannot create the environment that we would like to have in order to demonstrate some key teaching approaches that we want to teach to our students. For example, in this video, we developed a scenario about reciprocal teaching. The problem is that not many PE teachers use this approach, this teaching approach. So even if we go to a school, it's really difficult to find teachers using this approach. So our students having the opportunity to learn how to implement it. So what we tried to do in this video was to demonstrate how this teaching style is implemented and what are the key features of this style. And in this video, we described the structure of the lesson when we use this teaching style, and we have added interaction points to give more information to our students. For example, you can see here an interaction about providing a key feature of the teaching style, and there are also interactions with quizzes and more information about the position of people working in the style. I'm going to show you the video and explain more detail how we conceive this the preparation of this video. So don't mind the language; it's only Greek. So you can see the video now. The video stopped because we need to see an interaction. So we can move around and see that here there is an interaction. This should work. Don't know why it's not working. I know. Okay. So now you can get an information about how the teaching style should be implemented. It has to do with the location of the students. Okay. And then we can move forward and go to the next interaction. Okay. The benefit of using 360 videos, and this is also to answer another question, is that you can have an overview of the whole class. If we were using a 2D video, the video will be static. We will see only one part of the class. Now we have the option to see at the same time the whole class. Okay. Now let's go to the second interaction, which is a quiz, where we ask students about their opinion about the position of the PE teacher, and we ask them to respond to this question. And based on their responses, they also get feedback. This is not the correct answer. This is the correct answer. The PE teacher is in the correct position. Okay. And we can move forward. This is the PE teacher. And these are the students executing the task. Now you can see a very important key feature of this teaching style, that is, some students are performing and some other students are keeping notes. And this is highlighted in the next interaction we have. Okay, so we need to find the interaction, it's here. And we provide some questions. Based on the position of the students, which type of style we are using at the moment. And probably this is the correct one. Okay. And this way, we move forward and we add interaction based on the information we want to provide to our students. Now, as I said before, the benefit is that I can have an overview of the class during the implementation of the teaching style. If I was using a 2D camera, I could see only the students working here, or I should move around. But if I move around, I can't see what's happening in the class at that time. Okay. The video is quite long, so I don't want to see the whole video. This was just an overview of how we conceived and implemented this video. The key things that we need to remember with using 360 degrees video is that it gives us the opportunity to have a more realistic, a better overview of the environment, and also with the use of Vivista, we can have interactions that can give the students the opportunity to better understand what's going on during the process, during what they see. We can have interactions which provide information, so students can better understand what's going on, and also we can have interactions with quizzes, so we can also understand whether our students are getting some knowledge by watching this video. And that's all from me with respect to the example from physical education. Overall, I think that with respect to sports, physical education, competitive sports, and recreational sports, 360 degrees videos are really helpful and really useful in delivering this information to our students. We can give information about how to execute a task. For example, shooting in basketball, shooting in football. We can provide information about the tactics, how an opponent is working during the game, and we can provide information about how to teach in a specific way. Now, that's all from me. We can move to Michael.
Okay, I will continue sharing and Michael will continue with the next scenario. I hope you can see the slides. So this should be, yeah, Michael, all yours.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Michael. So indeed, it's also a use case that might be interesting. Let me explain the context. So everybody is affected by COVID-19. And within our education, for example, in June, it's the period where the end exams are. And for example, in our Department of Construction, there is a course called Construction Training, where students have to learn about construction sites, what is important, what points of attention are important within these environments. I'm not an expert myself within construction sites, but it's a case study, let's say, that we did. But we wanted to evaluate the competencies and skills knowledge that students had regarding a construction site. But due to COVID, we weren't able or allowed to go to construction sites physically. So what we did is we talked to a company that we know through our education. We went to a construction site and we made some 360-degree video shots. So as you can see on the right side, there are two images which give you a first impression of what the video looked like. What they actually did in this scenario, they made 360-degree pictures, so not videos, but pictures. But they edited the length of the picture. So every picture was 15 minutes long. There were 4 pictures of different perspectives. So you had a video of 1 hour, but it was just very static. But that was done for a specific reason, because we used this case as an exam, as you can see on the left bottom. There is a student standing in the area. At the front of the class, there is the examinator, and he has all control in this situation. So the student doesn't have any control as to select interaction points or anything like that, because they weren't present in this scenario. So the teacher was in all control. So he could ask questions like, okay, so now you see this construction site. What point of attention do you see? And then the student has place and time to look around. He can look around and say, oh yeah, I see this isn't organized very well. These piles of wood should be over there, for example. So he could really analyze the environment at his own pace, at his own time, and answer the questions that were given by the examinator. Feedback from students mainly was that it felt really realistic and they were happy with the alternative, because it really offers also some visual support, especially in exam situations. Students get a little bit stressed, which is perfectly normal. But then it sometimes can help to get some visual support. And in this case, they get this video and they can really point out like, oh, okay, so I'm seeing this over here. That's not the correct way. You should have done it like this. And the benefit is that the examinator at the front of the class can see in which perspective the student is watching, so he knows what he is talking about. After this exam, we sent it a survey based on the technology acceptance model of Davis, which really goes into the perceived ease of use and the usefulness. And both those results were very good, let's say. There was a high level of perceived ease of use, also a high level of perceived usefulness. The main feedback that we got as well is that they found it very interesting and innovative, because they really like the fact that these kind of technologies are introduced within exam situations and within their education. But a point of attention that they mentioned is the video quality. Since this is an area outside, it could go in very wide depth. It is very important to have a camera which at least shoots at 4K. As Michael already mentioned this, if you would film this scenario, let's say a full HD, it will be very difficult to really see the contrast between things. So that's why we really recommend to at least use 4K. And then still, if we really was zooming in on certain aspects, students mentioned that it wasn't always very clear. On the other side, this could be cost because a COVID intervention that we had to do. So before, students were wearing the VR headsets, they had to wear, just as you have mouth masks, they have eye masks, just to prevent as much contact with the VR headset as possible. So they really were wearing some masks over their eyes, and then they were wearing the VR headsets. And when you are wearing the VR headset, it's really important that it's suited perfectly on your head, because that will affect the quality of the video as well as you perceive it. Because if it's not correctly in line with your eyes, it will get a little bit fake, or some things might not be as sharp as they should be. But then if you put it correctly, you will all of a sudden remark a difference. So we're not quite sure if it really was because of the, let's say, resolution of the video, or if it was because of the use of the face masks in this specific scenario. But just to give you an indication that it could also be used in a exam situation perfectly. And then I will hand over back to Michael.
Okay, thank you, Mikael. I will continue by showing you 2 more scenarios we did at our university, at Vienna University of Economics and Business. And what we did in the first case was a business education seminar for teacher training. This was a German course, and we had 17 students, where the case was that these students were preparing for going into the actual classroom in schools and teaching and doing their first test teaching, explorative teaching there. So in order to prepare them for this, the standard way, or the way of doing it, there is an exam where each student will need to prepare a 20-minute classroom simulated teaching, and this then actually is an exam. So the student is assessed by the examiners, and also feedback is given by the students inside the room. And before 360-degree video, the examiners used regular video cameras. So they used a camcorder, they put it into a one position at the back, or they used a video recording system of the university. And in this case, we stepped in and thought, okay, let's try out 360-degree video recordings and try a position of an actual student sitting there and then doing a reflection on the video. So one part of the exam is to actually watch the video of yourself and reflect on it. And you reflect on it by answering certain questions, which are scaffolded in a way so you get some input to look at and further reflect. And in this case, we didn't use the regular video, but we used the 360-degree video and showed it to them. And the experience in this case were very positive. So it was motivating for the students to actually watch the video because they could look in different directions. They could look into the classroom, rewind again and look into a different direction in order to look at certain reactions of students and also how their body language changed during the course. So this was especially for video reflection and the possibility of choosing different viewing perspectives. This was a definitive qualitative added value for the task, for the actual task of doing video reflection. Now, with the video reflection and the delivery setting, we looked at 3 different headsets or 3 different delivery options. So we looked at the web-based player, the cardboard player, and the virtual reality headsets. And for doing the video reflection, obviously the virtual reality headset was the best in quality and the best in the actual experience. But for thinking about integrating it in a low-cost way, even by using a web-based 360-degree flat view of the video, so the 360-degree video, such as YouTube or any other video platform, was also enough to have a great experience of looking around and reflecting on your performance. Issues we encountered was the high data volume. So 20 minutes of a 360-degree video result in 10 gigabytes of video. And if you aim for higher resolutions, which in this case makes sense because you want to identify the facial expressions of persons sitting at the other side of the room, you definitely need a resolution of 4K and above. And a challenge which is not positive or negative, but it's a challenge in general is the positioning of the 360-degree camera, as it was not clear what's the best position for the student to reflect on yourself, on the teaching performance, and for the examiner to actually give a good assessment of the performance. So this is one scenario we will also be putting online. And another scenario we worked on was a library orientation course, which is, in this case, was produced in the first step only with 360-degree images. And we implemented this with the H5P platform, so you could add interactions via a web-based platform, but this only works for images. So that's why Vivista is important, or it's a benefit to use Vivista because you can actually use videos, 360-degree videos. And in this case, it was the motivation for this tour was to offer this orientation for a very specific area inside the library. So students were always having a hard time finding certain areas in the library, which in this case was the magazine and the lower level of the library, which is called level -2. And in order to help the students, this e-learning course was produced via H5P, and the students were then offered a way to click through and choose different ways to navigate to this level -2. Experiences here was very easy and straightforward to implement with a lot of features by H5P, but note that this is with 360-degree images. So this does work for 360-degree videos, but still it's 360-degree. And a challenge was actually hosting and integrating it on your own infrastructure. So you can register at H5P, but in order to really own the data and host it on your own infrastructure, there were some hurdles, but it's solvable in this case. Yeah, so this would actually sum up our presentation and our scenarios and these 2 hours. And I would shortly want to basically summarize what we were talking about today, what we heard. So we got an introduction to the SEPA360 project with 5 universities involved, covering 18 disciplines, with more than 25 educators actually developing the scenarios for 360-degree video in higher education. So with this project, it's also for the next year a contact option if you're interested to maybe contribute by adding scenarios or just exchanging and collaborating. This is a great opportunity to get in contact. We had a fundamental introduction to 360-degree video. So we learned about the foundations, how to get started as an educator with consumer-based 360-degree videos, what to look out for example, camera positioning, the immersion, and so on. So also by pointing out the points you need to look out for as an educator. And we showcased the Vivista editor. So I already posted the link to download the Vivista software. It is open source, so you can download it for free and design your interactive videos. Note that it is currently supported for Windows, and it is currently hosted on GitHub. So it's in development, which also here, if you have input, you can contact us via SEPA360. There's a contact form there. And so that would be a great opportunity to enrich 360-degree videos with interactions. And lastly, we now talked about some 360-degree video scenarios to give you an impression and some inspiration of how to maybe adopt and integrate 360-degree video in your teaching, in your classroom, or out on the field. So once again, I want to thank everybody joining today, and I want to thank the organizers contacting us and giving us the opportunity to showcase our project, the Vivista Player. This is a great opportunity, and we are still open and here for some questions and answers, and hopefully some collaborations or any contact, please just visit SEPA360, or you can also directly contact us here, so you have our contact addresses. In this case, thank you, and I will hand over to the moderators in order to cover some questions.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much, Mikhail. And thank you very much, Prof. Barkoukis. From what you have presented just now, we can say that, when watching a traditional video, the audience has an overview of the entire video and only needs to follow the action of their eyes. However, for 360 video, it differs from a traditional video, which how am I supposed to say? We can see the sphere of the video. So hence, it will somehow help audience or might be the viewers to learn more, to have an immersive experience. All right, am I right? Correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay, Mr. Safwat, do we have questions for our speakers here?
We do. We still have a few questions from the audience. All right, from Dr.
Excellent.
Hamgani. All right, may I read the question? Okay, well, the question sounds like this. Can you explain further on SEPA360? Does it offer support for international researchers or academicians? Right, so that is the question from Dr. Hamgani. So who would like to answer this one?
I think we can answer this question by basically visiting SEPA360 or contacting us directly if you are interested in collaborating or maybe exchanging further on this topic. So please get in touch with us at contact@sepa360.eu via the project website. I'm going to post it on the chat. Or
all right.
So I think that's.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael, and thank you so much, Dr. Izham, for the question. Studio manager, do you have any more questions from the audience? Yep, we have a question from EPB Flight TV. So, Madam Salwa.
Yeah, so the questions is, hello, awesome presenters. For TNL in higher education, do we have strong proof or hard data for the use of 360-degree videos? For instance, to help with the learners of certain groups of learners? And thanks ever so much.
If I may, we've run in the project a scoping study, a literature review, where we identified the studies that use 360 degrees videos in the past. The truth is that we have data. I can't evaluate whether this is a strong data because there aren't so many studies. We're starting studying 360 degrees videos in the past 5 to 7 years. So although we have some evidence, we don't have very strong evidence. From the evidence we have so far, what we consistently see is that students feel more immersed during the demonstration of these videos. And the experience with the 360 degrees videos is more immersive as compared to typical 2D videos. So one positive aspect is that 360 degrees videos are more immersive. A second issue we found is that it can improve learning at least as good as typical videos can do. And the third important aspect of that we found in this research is that consistently the enjoyment in participating in lessons with 360 degrees videos was higher than typical lessons using 2D videos or not using videos at all. So we think that in the end, in the long process, because of the higher enjoyment and more immersive participation in the lesson, students will learn better. But we don't have very strong evidence about this at the moment.
I see.
All right, thank you.
That is also something new. So we have another question. So Mr. Safwat or Miss Dianna, would you like to read the question?
All right, thank you, Madam Salwa. So this is going to be our last question today from Mr. Nizar Nazrin. Is there any research grant or financial assistance provided by your countries to purchase those hardware for the purpose of gathering content all over the world for the database library mentioned? Might be, Mikhail would like to answer on this because I remember you have told us about the library just now.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, maybe to give an overall answer to it, the project that we're currently working on is an Erasmus Plus project. So the project is funded through Erasmus Plus. So we, I think the head partner Hull in the UK, started to contact local universities that they know, including us as 3 partners here, and then still 1 other partner in Florence. And then we made an application on a call that was made by Erasmus Plus. So we wrote out an application, and it got approved. So we got funding to do this project. And within this project, we do have some finances to buy hardware. It's not that much. It's rather limited, actually. But there is some money that we can use from this application to buy some hardware. Besides that, all national universities have their own initiatives as well, but maybe also other projects. So it's mainly by combining a lot of different projects where we also always get a little bit of amount of money to buy hardware that we can establish. Let's say a database, or let's say a library of some materials that we have, some cameras, some laptops, some VR headsets. And within this project, we do travel to other countries. So we have 5 partners. For example, in February of 2020, I think it was, we went to Florence, which is one of the partners as well. And when we were there, we had our transnational program meeting, where we discussed things about the project, but we also went into the city to film some things. So there are beneficials from the project that you get to travel to the partners, which are in different countries, and you get the possibility to film things there. But also nationally we film things, and those will be presented on the library that we mentioned. I hope that answers the question.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mikhail. And I do hope after this COVID-19 is lifted, might be we can somehow invite the three of you to Malaysia. We are going to somehow, I believe that whatever that you are doing now will give a benefit to UiTM community. So thank you very much to the three of you. Is there any, last word that you would like to give to our UiTM staff and students today? Who would like to start first?
I think
basically, I will give 5 marks for those who will start first. Might be Michael.
Well, I can only say thank you for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to present this project, present this software. So spreading the information and sharing the information and knowledge. And I think last words would be to get in contact with us if you're interested and subscribe to the newsletter. Visit SEPA360.eu if you're interested. So in order to get the updates on the library and on further developments with 360-degree videos. So great opportunity, and thank you once more.
Thank you. All right. Next. Prof, maybe you would like to say something? 3 marks for you.
Yeah. I would like also to thank you for organizing this event. It was a really great event. And as a last note, I would like to say that higher education is moving to distance learning. Besides COVID-19 pandemic, this is the trend now. This is how higher education will do in the next 10, 20 years. So applying, implementing these approaches into our teaching or being prepared to implement them will help us all improve our teaching processes. Thank you again.
Thank you. And the last one, Mikael.
Thank you. Yes, closing words. I would definitely thank you all. I think also you guys, you did a great job. Thank you so much for it, for managing everything so well.
Thank you.
Also, thank you for the interesting questions. They're also very interesting and just good questions. And maybe some final remark that I wanted to say still is don't be afraid too much to try things out with 360-degree cameras. You can just start with a camera. You don't necessarily need to start with a whole backpack of a fancy computer and a headset, for example. If you just have a camera, you can get started. Don't be afraid to try it out. It's just to experiment with it. Once you get to experiment it more, it will feel more natural after a while. And we ourselves are still, building up the know-how on how should we film these videos, what is important to integrate, which perspectives should we start from, what are our didactical principles that we have to learn about to integrate when we are filming. So we also are still learning. So just don't be afraid to try it out and experiment with it.
Yes, I agree with
All right.
because we should take advantage of this open source application, Vivista. I mean, like, what else can you ask for? It's free, and you just have to get comfortable with the application because, as what Professor Vassilis just talked just now, this technology will be here for, in the coming of 10, 20 years. So it's either you be in the trend or you get left out, right?
Correct. Yes, I do agree with Salwa as well. I remember what Prof Barkoukis somehow shared with us is now it is actually this 360 somehow improve learning because the student will feel more enjoyment while watching this video, and we help to enhance the students' performance in school as well as in university. So thank you very much to the three of you. You did well today. Excellent, Mr. Safwat.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've learned a lot myself, and I'm pretty sure the audience have learned a lot also. And
Correct.
We are looking forward to working with you for more for more collaborations in the future. Yep, hopefully. Yeah, thank you so
All
much
right.
to all our presenters.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much to yes, Miss Madam Salwa. Continue, please.
All right. So before we end our session, to all audience, please don't be shy to follow us, share and subscribe to our channel for more exciting news and info that will be discussed and disseminated. We will also be blasting emails to our internal mail communication platform, so stay alert. On behalf of the CIDL CG 360 Videos team, we would like to thank all of our esteemed panelists from across the globe for the sharing of your time, resources, knowledge, and expertise from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you very much. All right,
Thank
so
you. Thank you.
not forgetting, we also would like to extend our appreciation to all of our dearest audience for the active participation in this webinar. We hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. See you for our competition. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Bye bye.